So welcome back to some more conspiracy theories, unexplained mysteries, and just overall craziness going on out in the world. All right, but before we get to the madness, I need y'all to help me unplug some more people out of the matrix. And you do that by hitting the like button, then putting hashtag unplugged in the comment section. All right, and if you're new, come on, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family. All right, that's it. Let's get to the craziness.
Now to our other big story of the day, a sinkhole in southern Hillsborough County that swallowed a man sleeping in his bed back in 2013 and reopened again 2 years later is once again causing concerns. Crews have been out on Faithway Drive in Zephyr throughout the day monitoring the hole after reopening for a third time now. But there is...
That don't freak y'all out? You could just be laying in your bed, sinkhole open up and just swallow you down? That don't freak y'all out?
Some good news. There's no one living close to it anymore. After the hole originally formed a decade ago, officials declared the area so unstable they demolished the house on the site and the homes on both sides of it. Meanwhile, our Stasi Olmos has been out there throughout the day today monitoring the situation.
She joins us now live. What's the latest, Stasi?
Well, guys, the county tells me that it's not uncommon for a sinkhole to reopen, but every time this particular sinkhole reopens, it's like opening a grave, now for the third time. Take a look at this surveillance video that I got from a neighbor across the street. Their camera caught the collapse on Friday. You can see a black spot appear, and that's the sinkhole opening, and a short while later, you can see a tree slowly sink in. It first opened...
Is there even a way to even predict that? No, right? It isn't, is it? I don't think it is. You can't predict that.
In 2013, in the middle of the night, right under a home at about 17 feet deep, taking the life of 36-year-old Jeffrey Bush. We met his brother out here today, and he says every time he gets a call about this sinkhole opening, it's like salt on a wound, and he wishes it would stop.
I come here all the time. When I'm not working, I try and come by here, visit him, because it's the only place I got to visit him. It's his last resting place. It's hard seeing the hole back open again. Any day that goes by, I don't think about my brother and stuff that happened in the house and that night, and hearing my brother yell and scream for me to help him. I hear it all the time.
There's nothing you can do. Bush says his brother's birthday is in 10.
Couldn't do it.
Bush adds that his brother's birthday is in 10 days on July 21st. The county tells us they filled the hole back in 2015 with gravel and water to stop it from spreading. And it's done just that. As you can see, it stayed contained inside of the fence and no danger to area neighbors as well as...
Contained for now? I really don't think you can stop Mother Nature like that. Many have tried, but I don't think you're going to succeed.
Their homes. They will be back out here tomorrow to refill the hole. Reporting live in Zephyr, Stasi Olmos, ABC Action News.
Stasi, thank you for that update. And of course, we know you'll stay on top of this developing story. Meanwhile, Jameson, you were there years ago, right?
Yeah, Wendy, 10 years ago, I was out there in Zephyr covering the story. And at the time, the U.S. Geological Survey told me our area is actually one of the hot spots for sinkholes in the U.S. They found that the majority of damage tends to happen here in Florida, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. I was more curious about...
All right, I'm staying in Georgia. I had like all of those spots, Texas, Florida, different ones on my possible destinations of having another home. Got to take them off the list now.
This today, and I reached out to Raymond Russo. He's an associate professor of geology, tectonics, and seismology at the University of Florida. He told me a big reason for this is that Florida's land is largely limestone, and the minerals that make it up dissolve quickly in water that's even slightly acidic, whether that's rain or something that's flowing underground.
Remember, these things are three-dimensional structures, and so you may get this patch, but then below it, you didn't know there was another patch. And so you can have this repeating kind of thing happening. You have to have really good structural control. You have to know exactly what's going on in 3D detail.
He told me the best way to close a sinkhole for good is to fill it with concrete, but a hole of this size may just be too expensive. Luckily for crews and residents in that area, that sinkhole in Seffner is pretty manageable size-wise. We've certainly seen larger ones. Wendy?
Yeah, that's right, Jameson. In fact, you may remember some of these scenes from Pasco County in past years. We've been out there multiple times as residents were forced to deal with destructive sinkholes. New tonight, our Eric Waxler looks back to learn what has become of these sinkholes since then.
At the end of Ocean Pine Drive in Land O'Lakes, there's now a basketball hoop where the road once went through. That was until July of 2017, when the biggest sinkhole anyone in Pasco County can remember swallowed up 2 homes. One fell in as our camera was rolling. 7 other houses were condemned.
And they actually had tiles popping out of the floor. Their doors were becoming to the point they couldn't open and close them.
Anthony Fossa was a deputy chief with the Pasco Fire Department at the time.
It was jaw-dropping for a hole that enormous, and it was still growing.
When the hole stopped growing, experts decided not to try and fill it up, but instead Pasco County bought some of the land and fenced it off.
Those kind of holes that are that big, you can try and fill. You can fill them, cover them. Mother Nature is going to do what it wants to do. If it wants to take it back, it's going to open that hole back up again.
Experts say eroded limestone on Florida's west coast is what causes so many depressions and sinkholes around here. In 2019, officials reported nearly 80 depressions in Hudson's Lake Woodlands community. Another hole...
See, this is the part of Florida that they don't tell you about. Everything is just sunshine and beaches and good weather, tans and stuff like that. This is the part of stuff they don't tell you about.
But next to the Varsity Club in Newport Richey in 2021, owners fixed the hole and the restaurant was able to stay open. And also in 2021, this bizarre site in Palm Harbor where 2 vehicles fell into a hole that opened up in a driveway.
What are you gonna do? I'm ready for a nice strong drink.
Back in Land O'Lakes, the county built turnarounds a few years ago on both sides of the hole so larger trucks would be able to get back down the street. And all has been quiet here in the past few years, except maybe the sound of a basketball. In Pasco County, Eric Waxler, ABC Action News.
And breaking in just the last hour, we are learning that Las Vegas police have searched a home in connection to the murder of Tupac, a murder that's gone unsolved for nearly 30 years. He died, remember, at the age of 25 after being shot in a drive-by in Vegas. You're looking at some of that old footage here. I don't have to tell you that Tupac Shakur, mega huge rap star.
Absolutely.
A short but legendary career. He sold tens of millions of records worldwide, most of that coming after his death. There has never been an arrest in the case, and police say this new search now, just the last 24 hours in Vegas, is part of an investigation even all these years later into his death. Noah Pransky is...
Man, I salute to the detectives or whoever that are still searching and not giving up and letting this case just completely go cold and freeze out. Salute to them, man, for trying to put it into this.
Us now. What else do we know? And does it signal that maybe police are getting closer to solving this mystery that's been out there for years of who killed Tupac?
Well, I don't want to speculate, but the statement you just read is about all we're getting from police at this point. We do know it took place in Henderson, Nevada, which is a suburb not too far from the center of Las Vegas, southeastern corner of the Las Vegas area. Police looked at this place last night, but we still don't have many new details today. As you mentioned, this case has been going on for 20-something years, unsolved, but in Nevada, there is no statute of limitations on homicides. So police have apparently been continuing to look. It seems like maybe there was some new lead, and Hallie, you look back, there were a lot of police involved in this from Nevada, New York, California. We were talking about East Coast, West Coast rivalries, gang violence. There was a lot of reasons that maybe this case never got solved, but I'm sure a lot of folks crossing their fingers today.
I feel like we would be remiss not to talk about, when you talk about the death of Tupac, the conspiracy theories that have surrounded his death, too. There's been this whole thing like, is Tupac still alive, etc.
Oh, my gosh. Whether or not he's still alive. Who did it? I think as of recent of the last, maybe 10 years, it's really ramped up about who's done it. Like, I think it's been more blatantly put out there recently than ever before about who they think did it or who people say they know who did it and stuff like that. But the biggest conspiracy is that he's on a beach out of the country somewhere, that he's still alive. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That have surrounded his death, too. There's been this whole thing like, is Tupac still alive, etc. I can only imagine that this search from Vegas police could reignite some of that talk.
Yeah, he's out on the beach chilling with Elvis and some of those other mysteries. But the conspiracies are prevalent on this case. There's a lot of talk about that he survived the shooting, he survived this assassination plot. A lot of people believe he was been hiding all these years in Cuba or Malaysia. His family, his old bodyguards, record executives, they've all leaned into this. And the end result is that it sells a lot of Tupac records. So we'll see what this does. But I'll tell you one thing, you can expect Tupac songs to jump up the lists this week.
Lots of questions on this one. Let's see if we get any more from Vegas PD. Noah Pransky, thank you very much.
UFOs have captivated the public interest for decades, but they've always been dismissed, including by me, as the province of wackos. But that is changing thanks to some remarkable videotape and first-hand accounts from very sober people who are trained to identify aircraft. And that would include this video. It shows two Navy pilots encountering something bizarre off the east coast of the United States. Watch this.
Yo, this is the best sounding one I've heard so far. It's a ton of these videos out here of people, pilots, actual pilots, being recorded at their first sighting at some of these unidentified things.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
What is that?
Okay, these are guys who fly for a living, who know what other airplanes look like, including those maintained by foreign governments, and they're totally shocked by this. This is one among many incidents like it. Many that have happened in the middle of the day to sober people, lots of independent witnesses at the same event, commercial pilots, military pilots, O'Hare Airport in the afternoon. None of them have obvious explanations. These are aircraft, apparently, that are moving in ways that appear to violate physics, that are flying very differently from any aircraft ever observed, and way faster than any plane that we know any foreign country has. What is this? Well, we don't know, because for some reason the Defense Department is not interested in finding out. Lou Elizondo is a former Pentagon official. He helped research UFOs. He said the DoD is not taking any of this seriously for some reason. Mr. Elizondo joins us tonight. Lou, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So did I overstate that? Is there a growing corpus of evidence, not drunk people on a lonely rural road at 3 in the morning, but sober military pilots saying something that we can't explain is happening?
That is correct. You're talking about individuals who have very high security clearances. They are trained observers. We've actually paid them and put them through schools to be trained and very keen observers to scrutinize what they're seeing. These are individuals who we trust to fly weapons platforms, sometimes with live munitions, over U.S. cities and to fight and win wars on our behalf. And they're reporting to us that they're seeing something that they can't explain, and it's also being backed up by the video evidence and the radar data and other witnesses.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, the weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability to. Flight performance characteristics that are well beyond the threshold of what we would consider, I think, normal or routine for aircraft.
So they have no flight surfaces, no wings or anything approaching a wing, and there's also no obvious propulsion, so infrared doesn't pick up any jet trail or rocket exhaust coming out of these things.
Right, or a plume. You know, there's many ways to have propulsion. You can do it with a jet engine, for example, a propeller, or a rocket engine. In this particular case, you have objects that are doing things, maneuvering in ways without any obvious sign of propulsion, and defying the natural effects of Earth's gravitational.
At what speeds?
Pull. Some are very, very, very fast.
Faster than our aircraft or
absolutely hypersonic speeds, and by the way, without any obvious signs or signatures involved. So when an object's moving through the atmosphere, you would expect it to have certain signatures associated with that particular aircraft, whether it's a missile, drone, rocket. So for example, you might see a heat signature coming from it. You might see ionization of the atmosphere. You might hear a sonic boom, which you normally would. It's an acoustic signature. In this particular case, these objects don't have any of those signatures.
So we know that they're not U.S. military because they wouldn't be flying near U.S. military aircraft as they so often have. And it seems like we would know if foreign countries had that technology. Look, I have no idea what it is. The bottom line is this is a potential threat, a grave one to our country. What is DoD doing about it?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of DOD right now because I'm no longer employed as a Department of Defense employee, but I can speak to what they were doing about it and what they weren't doing about it when I was part of the program. I think DOD is a very large, complex organization. I think it's very good at what it normally does, but in this particular case, we had a very ill-defined problem set. And so when you're going to the boss and you say, look, boss, we have something here, we don't know what it is, we sure don't know how it works, and by the way, there's nothing we can do about it. That is a very difficult conversation to have in an organization that is, its sole mission is national security,
It's
right?
just, I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft, and the government isn't responding adequately. And I hope you keep sounding the alarm on this.
Yeah, I think, if I may, just very quickly.
We've got 10 seconds.
Okay, you go to the metro, you see a sign, see something, say something, and we get an attaboy for reporting it. In this particular case, these pilots who are seeing something and is backed up by other data, it's nothing.
It's terrifying. That's the essence of dysfunction. Lou, thank you for that. I hope you'll come back.
And what'll end up happening is we'll wait till it's too late and we're caught with our hands behind our back. And that'll be bad for us, all of us. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you think and stick around and stay tuned. I'm gone. Peace.